Hi, good morning everyone, and welcome to the Azure Startup Mixer Bangalore chapter. At Azure Startup Mixer, we are passionate about fostering innovation and collaboration within the startup community. Today's session revolves around the exciting and transformative realm of generative AI. This event aims to bring together entrepreneurs, tech enthusiasts, and professionals interested in the potential applications and advancements of generative AI. And for today's session, we have Mr. Kapil Mehta, the Senior Director of Technology Solutions at VisionAid. Mr. Mehta passionately advocates for the role of digital skills in today's dynamic landscape, emphasizing the pivotal collaboration between humans and AI as the linchpin of industry progress. Kapil will be speaking on the topic embracing the revolution of generative AI. Hi, Kapil.
Hey, hi everyone. Good morning and happy Saturday to everyone. I can't see the crowd. I mean, is that how it goes?
Yeah, so you will see questions on the chat and
Mhm.
responses, or everything will come on the chat, and you can start. Stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I know this crowd. What we have today is a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, already an entrepreneur, and lot of technical folks out here. Now, we are talking generative AI, and actually, everybody is talking generative AI. I've been attending a lot of different conferences on generative AI from the VisionNet standpoint. So, I will first, in a nutshell, help you understand like how we started our journey. So, with VisionNet, we started our journey around like 4 or 5 months back, where our CEO started talking about the generative AI piece of it, and then that charter actually came to us, and where the very first thing what we did is to get the understanding of the leadership in itself, that where they think the gen AI should be, right? And then we got into 30, 60, 90-day plan as to how we need to move along in this journey of generative AI. And then we got into our second step to identify the core team. I'm one of the core team member. I'm leading this whole piece of Gen AI with VisionNet at a group level. We have different companies, so I'm leading it at a group level, and I report into CEO every 2 weeks as to how we are progressing on generative AI. And from there, we started, our journey of Gen AI as to how we really need to move forward with Gen AI. We started identifying the problem statement, and with the core team, we had the thought leadership as well, which are like strong PhD, experienced resources with us, and some of the industry experts, which actually gelled or collaborating with us. Now, when I say industry experts, it's like the domain leaders within the organization. So the very first step we did is to define the consulting piece of it as to how do we need to go and talk to the customer about Gen AI. What is Gen AI? Where Gen AI? Where it penetrates? What it penetrates? How do we make it ready for the customer? What kind of solutions we are looking for? I mean, there are multiple different domains where we need to focus. Do we really need to focus on that? What are the top 2 or 3 domains where we can focus and then start building some of our accelerators or products on Gen AI? So we spend a lot of time in that thought leadership and that thinking process to and 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 did some market research as well as to where the other companies are thinking, where the product companies are thinking, are they ready, where the engineering companies are ready, so that we get to the point and understand what is the real business impact which our team can create, what is that ecosystem we need, what is that nurturing we need within the ecosystem to do it. And there are a lot of exciting things I'm going to share in few minutes. So we did the consulting piece of it, and then we did the process and framework piece of it, that what are the tools and techniques, what are the templates, how the governance will work, how the contextual understanding of the overall generative AI will work, and what is that framework definition which we are going to start and then mature it as we move forward with our customers. And then we got into a space where we started defining our use cases. Now, When we started defining our use cases, our focus was on three things. One, life sciences, second, insurance, and third piece was retail, supply chain, e-commerce, and whatnot. Apart from that, I've been working with multiple different customers, multiple different enterprises, and all these enterprises are Fortune 100, 200, 500 customers to whom we are dealing with so far. Now, how our AI strategy should look like. Like whenever you want to do Gen AI, you should have some basic strategy in place. Like what's your North Star determination? What is your use case workshop by business units you have to do? So let's say we started with life sciences. So what are the use cases we are going to focus on life sciences, right? Drug discovery, clinical trials, patient, patient experience, some of the pieces on engagement side of it, some of the pieces on data side of it, tech side of it, content side of it, document reading side of it, and so on and so forth. And as we were moving on the insurance side, like how fast we can process the claims, how fast we can do the customer onboarding, and where we can help in when it comes to like um single agent supporting it, then enterprise agent supporting it, and the master of agent supporting it, right? And how we can build that structure, what sort of architecture we can build, because we are one of the IT organization and products and solutions organization. So we have a lot of different partnerships. So we started talking to Microsoft. We started building a few things, leveraging the complete tenant of Microsoft Azure side of it. Something similar on the AWS side of it, because some customers are on Microsoft, some of them are AWS. GCP is very small at the moment with us, but largely we are focusing on Microsoft and AWS. And then when we have the Copilot piece coming in, we were ready for that how best we can leverage this and deliver to our customers. And then from the strategy, so first is North Star, then we started talking about use case, and then we have adopting common technology, how to say, the framework, which is the framework for scalable GPT application deployment and management. That how fast we can deploy those, what sort of GPT applications we can use, open source versus the non-open sources one. And what is that framework? So everybody's talking about GPT-4, GPT 3.5, GPT 3, the bots and all these things. But I, as when I look at it, Gen AI, for me, the Gen AI is the architecture. Like how we are putting together the whole of the architecture for the existing enterprise. So enterprise is working, right? They have their complete data cycle running. So they have sources, they have ingestion, they have processing, and then they may have data warehouses, data lakes, and they have their data catalogs, quality auditing, and then the visualization layer of it. Now, when they are working on these things, where will that Gen AI fit, right? Where will those LLMs sit? So we really have to spend that time in putting together the architecture where the Gen AI sits in the enterprise side of it. And we started talking about responsible AI, that how we can make it more compliant, more explainable, right governance in place, ethical, secure, and retain that organization reputation on that. And then we started getting into the components, right? So first component was the responsible AI, and then we moved on to the cognitive side of it, that where the Q&A is one piece of it, chatbot is one piece of it, entity linking, summarization, contextual understanding, sentiment analysis, and so on and so forth, right? And then the third component was the management component, where we were getting into the vector store, knowledge repos, life cycles, and whatnot. Gen AI, yes, the key features I still feel would be the chaining and that agent framework, right? The abstraction for working with language models and then developing the applications with the right set of architecture and language models. Then comes your vector store. We use a lot of vector DB. Common ways to store and search some of the unstructured data into an structured way, and then showing it. So most similar to the what do you call embedded query. Then comes the scaling piece of it, which is like ChatGPT powered applications, which we can leverage with the help of Kubernetes, and making those clusters and move forward. And then responsible, which is more on the secure API access and storing the pieces as part of your logs, key vaults, specialized accounts, and so on and so forth. And whenever we build, I mean, there are different solutions. If I go and talk to banking, financial, insurance companies, then I have to think about the guardrails. If I have a customer which is just making a blank paper manufacturer, then I may not talk some of the encryption description pieces, because I did that once, and then the customer said, Kapil, we are just making the paper, we are the paper manufacturer. So do we really think we need that much of security and stuff, right? Um, what are the benefits and advantages of Gen AI? I mean, it boosts the creativity and innovation. I mean, it's actually cutting across to lot of different, what do you say, the different domains as such. I mean, I don't think so any domain which is left. Art and music is also trying to adopt Gen AI as much as possible. It is in, it is in, it increases your productivity, your efficiency, bring the knowledge together, make you more technically qualified, reducing your team. You have soft savings and hard savings as well, because hard savings in terms of what you pay, and soft savings in terms of your productivity and efficiency. And it provides a lot of cost effective benefits, like large amount of, what do you say, the original data, I mean, or the content we process quickly and efficiently. It identifies the inefficiencies, the deduplications, and streamline that whole process of minimizing the waste, and reduce the cost. Uh, Now, if I talk about the trends which are driving generative AI market growth, is hyper personalization, ability to formulate your online content based on customer preferences, personalized content, which helps you for your target marketing, your campaigns, your customer engagement, enable them for right customer adoption, consumption of your products and solutions within the organization as consumer, and also to the customers, the end customers of it. Then comes your multimodality, to push forward the artificial intelligence by your companies and operate across various different applications, linguals, geographies, and so on and so forth. And then comes on the third one, which I mean, which is literally close to my heart, was the overall software development. So I take 2 or 3 minutes here to talk about the software development piece of it. So when we started building our what do you say, Gen AI accelerator. So one of the accelerator or the thought process was that how best, we can, how best, um, how to explain this. So how best we can ship our products and solutions faster to the customer, how we can make the entire software development lifecycle more productive, more efficient, more effective, more in terms of eliminating the waste, and so on and so forth. Now, when we were doing that particular piece, we have identified like 100 plus different tools which we can use across the life cycle, right? From your requirements to user stories to code generation to code auditing, to test, to creating those test cases, and then creating the backlogs, and then the backlogs again gets into the process, and we get to the ready shipping of the product. So we had 100 plus different products, which or the tools which we thought, okay, we are going to analyze. We did that analysis, we did the comparative analysis of those 100 products. We have used those 100 products and then identified the top 2 or 3 products which can actually help us throughout this life cycle. Now, with those 2 3, we went and got their licenses. We created a tenant within the organization, a separate tenant on which we are going to run that. So with those licenses, we asked our developers to go and use those licenses. So when they were, and this we have done on the actual project. So we have an actual project running without Gen AI, and we have a project running with the Gen AI tools. And when they started writing code. I mean, the code was coming in, the code auditing is happening, a lot of different parameters in terms of strokes, in terms of keyboard, in terms of code, in terms of auditing of that code, test cases, user stories, the business objectives, and so on. And the multiple different factors on which we have gone through this entire life cycle. And then what we did is like, whenever the developers are using those licenses, and we made them use it very, 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 very extensively, like 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day, 24 hours a day, because global organizations work almost 24 hours. Somebody is coding in US, and then somebody started coding in India, and then somebody started coding in China, and then somebody started coding in Mexico, and that's how the teams are split, right? And we created a similar sort of a thing where our coders was coding almost like 24 hours. Someone was coding in the morning, afternoon, evening, and that's how we were doing it. And in the last, what we did is like we captured that whole of the data, and after capturing that data, we did the complete analysis that how much we are productive, right? And our productivity mathematics or analysis says that we were 25 to 32% productive in this whole life cycle. And then right now we are putting together that statistics in a more granular level, and that will actually help our kind of IT products, solutions, and services company to go to the market and say that today you take 6 months to build an application or a product or a solution. We can do 25% savings. We can give it back to you, right? Your debt we can reduce on the overall IT, on overall application development, overall software development. We can actually help you, assist you in building that entire platform within your organization. And there are multiple different organizations, right? As the world is moving towards continuous development, that continuous development, that engineering piece of it, uh, enabling those different tools which are your right checks and balances, your eyes and ears 24 bar 7, enabling your developers to think logically, much more different, much more out of the box, and yet giving you a product or the solution what your customer is looking for, or the solution what you're creating for your company 20% more productive or 25% more productive. I mean, it's a huge thing, right? So we are working right now on that particular piece. We're almost there. The research, the calculation, the statistical analysis, everything is being completed. Now the thing is like team is putting together the complete journey, the case study out of it, and then we are going to go to some of the enterprise customers, and they're very excited. As and when I'm meeting customers in US or UK or Germany, I'm talking about it, right? And whenever I talk about it, I mean, they all like it. I mean, they say, "Kapil, we really want to see it. I mean, how you guys are doing it." So we are making it demoable, so that we can, take it to the customer and show it. So in about 3 to 4 weeks, because December is a little light month for us, where most of the customers are out of office due to holidays and those pieces. So we are using this month to be ready, so that as soon as we start the new year, we should be ahead of the game, right? Now, as we were moving onto the journey of Gen AI, let's assume I'm talking to you guys today. Likewise, I was talking in DCX, I'm talking to Microsoft, I'm talking to multiple different customers across the geography. And customers comes and say, Kapil, if you wanted to use Gen AI, how does this piece is working? How can we have it as part of our architecture? As part of our organization, how our enterprises can adopt it. You know, it if you see, it gives you a lot of excitement, right? That customer is coming and talking to you. But I actually go with a baby step, right? What is that step? Now, what the step is to first make the customer familiar with generative AI. What is generative AI? Prompt engineering, what it can do, what efficiency it can bring, what are the different processes you can process, how the security works, how the responsible AI works. So making them prep for the Gen AI. And then we get into the workshop. Every customer comes with, that can Gen AI do this? Can Gen AI do that? Can we use this as a use case? Can we do that as a use case? And most of these bigger organizations, sometimes they operate in silos, right? And it's not like they love to do it in silos, because that's how the operating model is, because every function, every business, every department has its own charter. They have their own goals on which they are working, and hence those ideas are coming. So we do a full blown workshop with them, help them with the help of conversational UX, help them with the design thinking, help them with the idea thinking, help them taking those specific domain related understanding to them, to help them identify the list of the use cases. And once they have the list of the use cases, then we actually help them understand what is the priority. And that prioritization, we have a model in place, we have a framework in place, which actually helps them understand these are the top 3 or 5 use cases you wanted to go first, right? Which can help you in your customer experience, in your debt reduction, cost savings, making you more efficient and effective, and it retains the speed and agility of the organization to move forward, right? So that is the piece we do. We get to the use case, and then after the use case we get into the piece where we have to develop this. Then how do we develop it? So as part of our Gen AI journey, we have actually started few tracks. One is the consulting track, as I spoke. Another is the use case track, which we identified within the organization to create those accelerators on the Gen AI, so that we understand what customer is talking, and customer understand us better, that yes, these guys has the caliber in doing it. Third piece, like the complete architecture and the technology side of it, that how best we can have those architectures in place, or how best we incorporate customer architecture to make them Gen AI ready, right? And with that, what we did is, like, we started, because we know that this wave is gonna come towards us. We started the complete full-fledged um, 10 no I guess 12 to 14 weeks of training program within the organization for all our data, AI, NLP, ML, and those sort of engineers. um, the complete training program for 12 to 14 weeks. And today we have capability. We know what to talk to the customer, how to consult the customer. We have the capability ready. We have almost 150 to 175 resources ready, which can actually go and start working on it. And then we started pulling our accelerators in. So let's say if I talk about the life sciences as one of our domain, right? So how can we have something called Ask Pharma. We have metadata dictionary. We have mining interviews, largely for disease progression, co-founding variables and stuff. Then we have recruitment messaging generation, which is for clinical trials. A lot of people come forward and say, okay, I'm going to do the clinical trials. What is their appointment? What is their onboarding? How they will do it and stuff. And then clinical endpoint searches. And the two use cases we are working right now, all these are taken care of. But two use cases, what we are working is like drug discovery side of it, adverse event coding side of it. And something similar we are doing on the insurance side. So we have text advisor bot, we have messaging generation, we have policy document Q&A, we have claim processing piece of it, we have marketing mix modeling, we have predictive lead scoring engine. And then the three pieces what we are working right now, the team is working is like how to say AI driven reporting in terms of text, claim, and stuff, optimizing claim processes, boosting your customer experience in terms of your onboarding, engagement, adoption, consumption, capturing those successes and infusing it back to the business as a feedback as well at times, right? So these are some of the pieces, on which we are working as generative AI. It it's a great journey, guys. I mean, I've been reviewing a lot of companies in different parts of the world, and exponential work which is going on the generative AI side. Oil and gas, engineering companies like ABB, Siemens, Honeywell, they wanted to get to the level where they can actually do their product engineering pieces, solution engineering pieces with the help of Gen AI, or ML pieces of it. I'm working with some of the consulting companies which would like to leverage the data science to build a lot of different models. Apart from that, what we did is, like, because we are building so many models, We are leveraging a lot of open source models. We are leveraging a lot of LLMs and so on and so forth. If I give everything to the customer, how will customer manage this? How will customer govern this whole piece, right? And there's something I should give it to my customers. Otherwise, it will create a kiosk in the organization, which is in 110 countries, supporting the businesses in 110 countries, and they have techies everywhere, they have data scientists everywhere, and so on and so forth. What we did is like we created a product called Model Lifecycle Management. So every year, I mean, there's a world's largest bank, you can say, or a financial organization. They run something called a technology conference, and we happen to get a chance to present our product into that technology conference, and the entire world leaders were there, and they hosted this time in India last year, beginning of sorry, the mid of this year. We got a chance to go and showcase our product. Now, what is the product all about? The product is model lifecycle management. So you have hundreds of models running in your organization as of today. How are you monitoring it? How are you enabling that engagement between the models? What level or the depth in which you're measuring those models? What are the different access levels you have on which you can see the complete model life cycle, from the data science fresher to the engineer, until the chief data officer of the organization can access and see the view of it. If I'm one of the data science guy writing a model for some of the financial services, I write my model, I use my model, I upload it onto the tool. It goes through the checks and balances, which is again automated, and then it gets approved and published, right? Another data scientist come, he wanted to write a model, or he's working on some model. He need not to write from this, he can leverage it. If it is not there, he can write it from the scratch. If he or she leveraging that particular model, he will update that model and publish it. So that model started with version 1, it has version 2, version 3, version 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who has done it, where it has to be done, why it has been done, what are the different components, what is being used in each of the models, what is the difference of each of the model, the different metrics in which it gets into the detail, where which processes of the business it is helping, and how the majority of that entire model life cycle is working, with the close collaboration where data scientists are coming together in this platform and doing it. Before, they were working in silos, like somebody sitting in Istanbul was doing some model, and I am sitting in India doing something, or one of my colleagues sitting in US and doing it. We don't know which models you're working, but I know you are a data scientist, but I don't know which models you're working, because we work in three different departments, focusing on three different businesses, focusing on three different functions. Right now, this platform is bringing everything together, and it gives a great strength to the organization, that how best they can take this forward, and how those models can enrich the overall piece of the organization and adding that business value. So we presented this product. I mean, they were out of 40 companies. We were the first one who got selected, and now we are working with that organization, that how best we can deploy that entire solution for them, and what are the different benefits they can get from that solution. Just give me a minute, guys. Any questions so far? um, Anything you would like to understand out of our journey? Anything where you think we can help you, assist you with whole of this life cycle? I know it is virtual. If it is face to face, I would have used some boards or something, but I encourage all of you to get to that architecture layer of Gen AI. I mean, understand what business is looking for, where that business impact is. I mean, don't build your thought process only on the bot level, right? Gen AI is way beyond that, right? A simple to simple is unstructured, structured data, and how best you can visualize it. A simple call center, how you can automate. A simple quality checks and balances, how you can do it. How we did the software development life cycle, to reduce that cycle time, and that's it. very good cost effective solution what we are working on. And just imagine the learning every developer is having. And the technical capability of our organization will go from level 1 to level 2, or if we are on level 4, it will go to 4.5 or 5, right? And then the value what we are adding to the customer, because everything what we are doing is retained with us, right? We're creating that knowledge. Next time when we are creating, we have the models created, we have the code created, we can ship it much faster, because the first in the factory model, the first one will take time, because you're putting together the process, you're establishing the process, you're defining certain things, you're doing wear and tear of it, you'll do a lot of mistakes. The second time you'll not do anything, you may do some new mistakes, right? And that is the learning which will go along with you. And as and when you're moving forward with multiple different customers, multiple different enterprises, it automatically adds value. It enriches your domain knowledge as you move forward. So I always suggest everyone that Gen AI is not just chatbot, guys. Gen AI is not just the data, right? I mean, it's an art of leveraging the technology, art of delivering the service, art of operating a business or a function for your consumers, for your customers. So that's how I think Gen AI. Any questions, Asgar? Have you
Yeah,
got
we
any?
have some questions on the screen. So would you like to take them at the end?
No,
Or
let's make it quite a few.
yes.
So in the comments, um, Lakshit Pant, what are the ethical guidelines or principles will your startup follow in the development and deployment of generative AI? Till the time you're not exposing my code, till the time it is secure, till the time you have your tenant, till the time you're following responsible AI, till the time, you know, how to say, the layer between your Gen AI versus your production AI is taken care of, or in fact your QA layer is. But there are tools these days, Lakshya, I mean, which you can still use it and they do not expose anything. If you need those tools, like Tab9 is one. There are 50, 60 tools I have, which we have explored. Those can help you out there. Then we have Nirupama Singh. How do you plan to maintain a competitive edge as the generative AI landscape evolves? As I said, the competitive edge is like, um, um, I gave a lot of examples, right? Like you should be clear with your consulting pieces of it. You should be clear with your workshop pieces of it. You should be clear with the domain pieces of it. So when you combine these two, it gives you an edge so that you can go and talk to your customer. You understand their language, they understand your language. And then the complete architecture pieces, what you're focusing on, the business impact pieces of it, help them understand what are the use cases, what is the prioritization. There has to be a framework, and it has to go in a linear logical way to help you get to that competitive edge. It's not just technology as such. Technology, I'm sure you guys will definitely do a good job, but this entire framework, this methodology, you should have a core team, you should have thought leadership also in place at times, you should have domain expertise also with you, because today you're talking to an e-commerce company and tomorrow you can go and talk to oil and gas. I mean, the domains are completely different, so you have to do that homework, that analysis before you hit to that ground. We saw some enthusiasm and energy when Web 3.0 startup ecosystem was getting started. There were no government restrictions when the whole crypto NFT ecosystem emerged. There were no government. Now, in this case, the thing is like it's the choice of an enterprise to do generative AI or not. And generative AI is one such AI. I don't know why we everybody's making a hype of it. It's an AI, right? I mean, it generates of text, generates of images, generates of videos, generates of documents. It's everything it is generating, right? Now, how you collate that information, make a knowledge out of it, and serving your customers. If I'm a government, how can I serve the masses out of it? I mean, that's the technology behind it. That's the approach behind it. That's the methodology behind it. And I don't think so. As such, you have regulations on it in adopting and adapting and implementing the technology. Yes, at an organization level, you should have generative AI policy, right? You should have the guardrails of regulations and compliances, which actually helps you deliver. and also helps you leverage and adopt this technology if you're buying a solution from any partner or any vendor, or maybe SaaS based solutions also. um, then we have, however, then government started to monitor and become a gatekeeper, thus killing the entire industry. I don't think so. I think it is helping, honestly speaking. Like, if I'll give you a very very basic example. I was in I keep traveling to different parts of the world, and most recently I was in US, and I was um, I I landed at the New Jersey airport, and I have to drive down for about an hour to one of the town where my hotel was. So generally, what happens when I land at New Jersey, I go and pick up the yellow cab. And this time I thought, okay, let me take the Lyft or Uber or something this time. And when I landed this time, I forgot that I have put my wallet in my suitcase. And my suitcase is locked because I just landed after 21, 22 hours of flight. And I was in the cab, and I booked the cab, and I reached to the hotel. After reaching to the hotel, I said, "Can you give me the QR code?" He said, "What do you mean by QR code? We don't have QR code. Can you pay by credit card? Can you pay from your Apple Pay or Uber Pay or something like that?" Then I realized, I mean, this piece is not there. I mean, the QR code piece is not there. When I went to Switzerland, I was unable to buy the ticket from of the train from airport to the point where I really need to go. But one of the lady helped me out with the QR code. So it means Switzerland is there. US is still not there, right? India is way ahead in terms of payment, the QR code, and the whole of this UPI pieces of it. The banks are coming, the data aggregation or banking aggregation startups are coming. Like, I was talking to one of the very good product companies in Chennai like 3 4 weeks back, that how we can leverage your technology, and how we can take you from India to the enterprise customers, and so on and so forth, right? So I think government as such is helping in terms of your regulations. If they're monitoring the transactions, if they're coming up with those regulations and compliances, I think it is good. I think it is good. Yes, we feel from the point of view that it is somewhere controlling the speed and agility of business, but sometimes it is healthy as well to make the business more regulated, more compliant, so that it is easy for you to accept it. Speed and agility, I may have the similar kind of a consideration what your question is, but every time speed and agility doesn't matter, right? More compliant you are, more certified you are, more acceptable you are, I think that also helps you to position yourself better when you work with enterprise customers. So I think from that point of view. How do you plan to address concerns related to potential misuse of AI generated content? Actually, honestly speaking, guys, I don't use ChatGPT. I'm being very honest with you. And where I use ChatGPT, I'll tell you. I've been working in the industry from almost 20 years now. I've been reporting into CIOs. I've been working with multiple CIOs across the world, multiple CEOs across the world, very senior leadership, presentations and talking, forums, awards, and so on and so forth. Sometimes my kind of a person actually stuck at one place. How to start? Right? If you see, a singer knows that from where he has to start his song, right? Some sur, something he used, right? And that's where I just take the help of ChatGPT to get me that kick of the right choice of words from which I can start. The rest storyline, I do it by myself. And yes, there are potential misuses. I mean, people like today we don't remember mobile numbers. I'm sure we will not remember a lot of the learning. We'll actually go and verify it or learn it from ChatGPT, right? So that kind of a thing, what I think will definitely impact us, impact the education system, impact the learning of the new generation, right? I mean, my era versus Asgar era or my father's era was completely different, right? The memory was more sharp, right? But now we look at it from the point of view that where we are really using our memory, right? Before it has a lot of different things. Now it has something more potential, right? And certain things which we need not to remember because we have devices with us. Are you then suggesting that as young startups in the Gen AI space, we can still keep building what we are trying to build without the fear of interventions of authorities? I mean, guys, let's not worry. I mean, just build, showcase it, test it, do a beta, this thing. But still, I will say, first, define what you are building and define it really, really very well. That how to say, like the startup ecosystem. No, every time we need not to solve a problem, right? Every time we need not to solve a problem, but we can create a solution which can eliminate a lot of different problems. Eliminate the waste also. Eliminating waste is not a problem, right? Correct. Everybody is eliminating, like with the help of Agile, with the help of PMP, with the help of Lean, with the help of SRE, with the help of AI ops and stuff. Like one classic example is AI ops. Like one of the piece which we were working with one of the customer was that they had huge L1 L2 kind of a tickets coming, and they're supporting it for their customers, and they had a huge service desk which was working, right? So what we did is, like, we implemented that particular piece here within our organization, and we automated the complete L1 L2 piece. And how do we do that L1 L2? I mean, that knowledge what we gathered, eliminated it, continuously build our knowledge, and then we integrated, because we use Teams, so we integrated it with Teams, and then we created a kind of a bot, and we called as that bot as some Jenny, some Cody, some Kapil, some Akzar, and then we started using it. And trust me, it has just helped, where customer on the go can use it. If not, then we have knowledge articles. Take a look at it. Do it by yourself. If you're not still not able to solve it, then submit a ticket and somebody will take care for that, right? So there's different ways in which you can look at it. Like using AI and similar tech in the home recreation and products, etc., looks very appealing and has positive UX, especially in Gen Z. How to say, I completely support this piece, Lakshit. I mean, conversational UX is something, the thought process now, and it has to be conversational. The element of the UX or the design thinking will remain the same, right? You can still leverage AI in some pieces of it, but conversational UX is the way forward. The AI centricity or AI UX centricity, which goes with your AI customer centricity, and that is how we have to start thinking. Very good question. I really appreciate that. But at the same time, maintaining the regulations of data collections, how do you believe this can be monitored or controlled? Tools, that's the only thing. The tools, the environment, the firewalls, the safety, the compliances, the SOX pieces of it, the audit pieces of it, and depends that you're meeting what the domain is asking you to do it. I mean, you really have to meet what the domain's compliances and regulations are, right? And as an org, do you also invest? Would love to pitch it to you. I mean, why not? We do it. We are a products and solutions company. There are a few products of our own. It's part of our DNA. I mean, there are few products which are at which are generating revenue from $5 to $7 million as of today for us throughout the year. And then there are one or two products which are beyond how to say $100 million as well. They are already part of Gartner's and Forrester's quadrant, right? So we as an organization, we always look for it. The only thing is that when we work with you, we don't take stakes in your organization. We don't own the IP. We don't own the code. I mean, that gives you the larger flexibility to work with us. Apart from that, I mean, we actually give you a lot of support in terms of your architecture side of it to make you enterprise ready. We also help you on your compliances regulation side of it. We also implement it, because we're a huge organization. So we implement it, we test it, we build the case study out of it, and make you enterprise ready, so that you can work with the global customers. So we do that, right? And right now on Saturday morning, like since 8 o'clock, I'm in office. I'm sitting in my office right now, and I'm taking this call at 11 o'clock. But there's a room out here. We are doing a Shark Tank kind of a thing in our organization, where I have few of the VCs sitting, and we have identified almost 10 to 15 startups. They're coming one by one. They're pitching for their products, and every so we had around 70 or 80 startups which we identified, out of which almost 15 startups are there in the round one. And from round one, we are going to go to round two. And in round two, next week, they will come and present us once again. And that's how we are going to go to top three. The top three, which will be part of our go to market. And then we help them onto their architecture, whatever I just said. And then together we go to the customer and say, this is the solution we have, right? So this is how we are enabling the ecosystem. So this is the startup side of it, and something similar. I was part of 2 days back. I visited one of the university or the engineering college, a huge engineering college, where we were analyzing around 30 to 40 different ideas. I personally was part of one of the panel. I mean, there were different groups. I was part of one of the group. I identified two groups which I really felt that they have uh, um, right technology in place. They're thinking linearly, logically. They have what they have thought through, how they have thought through was absolutely right. I understand, I mean, because they're college grads right now, so they're not thinking more depth of the domain, but they have really touched the parameters what I'm looking for, and then their behavioral pieces of it. I mean, if we give them a feedback, are they taking it on their egos and stuff and whatnot? So the cultural fitment also I have checked it, uh, and then I have selected myself two of those ideas, which will go through the journey of 3 weeks with us, beginning next week. So that's how it is. So that's the answer to danger, Abir. Any other questions, guys? And I'm extremely sorry if I have missed any questions or I have not touched upon on anything. But my name, you all know, Kapil Mehta. I work for Visionet. I'm the senior director for technology and solutions. I lead um, the the pre-sales piece of it, which is more technical piece of it, the solutioning piece of it, for the enterprise customers. And technology is something which I love the most. So I keep working, building different accelerators, defining those roadmaps, methodologies, framework, to take the business forward and create that impact for my customers. So that's what I have for today. Any other questions, Asgar? Anything you have?
I guess we are done with the questions. Thank you so much, Kapil, for such an insightful session. We would definitely love to have you for an offline session whenever we are planning to do. So I'll seek your appointment for that. And
Oh,
thank you.
anything. I would love to. But thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot, Asgar. I mean, Saturday. I mean, you guys giving your personal time, coming in and listening to me, but the questions were really great. I mean, I'm sure it is not the person who is asking the question is getting the answer, but the entire ecosystem is getting nurtured and understanding or gaining that learning. So thank you so much, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Take care for yourself and stay safe. But see you soon. Meet you soon. Bye bye.
Sure. Thank you, Kapil. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you so
Have
much,
a good
guys. Bye
day.
bye.